Welcome to the Shadow Babies podcast, a romantasy podcast between two friends in town who also happen to be mothers of young children. I'm Veronica.
I'm Emma.
And we're here to talk tonight about our takes, impressions on the latest installment of the Empyrean Series, Onyx Storm.
Hello.
Oh my gosh. When was the last time we did a recording? January?
It was the first week of February.
Oh, right. That's right. We talked about that. Lunar New Year had just happened, and now it's the first week of March.
Yeah, and it took me 2 months, right? Because No, it was January 20th. It came
January
out?
20th. Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah. Finally finished Onyx Storm.
I'm proud of you.
You know what I was thinking about? This is the first book that we're reading for this podcast that is like a first read for both of us.
Right.
Yeah.
I was tempted to do a reread, and then I decided not to.
Oh, really?
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Good. I'm glad because
yeah.
I also wanted to do a reread, but I just finished it.
Right,
so
right.
I had no time.
No, but yeah. Do you want to share? Because you had really positive things whenever I would check in with you. You were saying you were enjoying it. Do you want to start with your first impressions? Does that give something away about what I feel?
Yeah. Okay. So I liked it.
Okay.
It is what it is.
Yes.
I definitely found some faults. Parts of it felt a little bit, I guess, campy is the word I would use. I don't know, for what it was,
Yes.
It was such a fun, it was my bedtime book.
Yeah.
Chapter by chapter.
Yeah.
It was exciting to go back every night and
Yeah.
be like, oh, what's going on with these guys? Yeah, and then obviously the ending was pretty mind-blowing,
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah.
So much to get into.
I mean, like, I totally hear you. I think many readers of this series would probably agree, maybe, that Fourth Wing was the strongest book, right? Like, it was fresh, brand new. I liked the voices of the characters. I liked that people were young and human, and it was really fun as much as it was also, like, compelling in certain ways. And then I'm going to borrow my friend Brinley's phrase.
Oh, did she read it too?
She read it too. She texted me about it, and I will agree with her. It was like she was building the plane mid-flight. Do you know what I mean? Like, things were happening and being built at the same time.
No, I agree with that. Like, kind of when you drop something brand new out of nowhere, like grandmother.
Right.
Like, all of a sudden, grandmother.
What?
Wait, oh, yes,
Yeah.
There were two grandmothers, of course. One of
Yeah.
them is dead. Oh, no, the alive one? That's the one we're talking about.
That's the one we're talking about. And
Yeah.
she also has not had any contact with us because, by the way, when you were a baby, our parents tried to dedicate you. They disagreed about it. And then Dad went off and decided to do it. And then Grandma really was like, okay, I'm not having anything to do with you anymore. Like, really? What?
I know. I kind of wish that there had been like a little bit. We knew that Dad did a lot of research.
Yes.
And that was like a big part of his
Yes.
whole story.
Yes.
But travels and
Yes.
yeah, like he's like a very well-traveled person, or
Yes.
that they wanted to help her so much when she
Yes.
was a baby. Like
Yes.
none of that was brought up.
Well, it wasn't
until
even.
now.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't even clear, like, why. Like, it's been said, like, oh, your mother was sick. Like, General Sorrengail was sick when she was pregnant with you. But what was the illness? Violet has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome.
But I'm not sure if that's what it is. Is it about the joints and
It is about the joints
Do
and
you
the
think-
connective tissue.
But do you think that's what they're trying to heal, or
oh,
something else?
Right. Or yes, that's what I'm not sure.
Right.
Is it like she was essentially in utero when her mother was critically ill, and it impaired her ability to develop. So when she was born, she was super, super weak. And this was the best the priestesses at the temple could do to heal her. And now she's, this is who she is, or like, is this who she is and they failed to heal her? Like, it's very unclear. But I want to know all of these answers. And then to your point about Papa Sorrengail's research, I thought we were going to get a lot more detail, a lot more understanding. Instead, it's kind of like sprinkled throughout when Violet is like, oh, when he wrote about the flora and fauna about this island, and when he mentioned like the antidotes on this particular thing, like it's sort of woven in, which I think the intention was to make it seem like She read the material, she internalized the material, and now she's applying it appropriately. As a reader, I am honestly left quite confused.
You know what it reminded me a lot of? Rebecca Yarros is a big Taylor Swift fan.
Yes.
And I don't know
thought
if
this
you're
too. I
familiar
think
with like T
Easter
Swift lore.
eggs.
Yes, she's all about the Easter eggs, like
Yes.
dropping in all of these tiny things, which is really fun for fans
Yes.
to kind of pick apart. And it's like big internet and everything. And so it kind of feels like a Taylor Swift situation.
Yes. And that's what she primarily listened to while writing this book, allegedly. And that's exactly how I felt.
Yeah. And so I feel like for some, that's really fun because, it kind of feeds the fandom. Like, there's a lot of things to, like, a reread is really cool because you can go back and, like, see a lot of things and you can talk about it and have a lot of theories.
Right.
I suppose you could call that foreshadowing.
Kind of.
Yeah, but it's different.
Yes.
Like, it feels really disorganized, which is hard for my brain.
Right.
But perhaps a Gen Z TikToker, like, this is exactly how they like to receive information.
Where it's like little clips and bites.
Yeah.
Yes. I will say that the feelings that we're sharing here are the feelings I'm hearing from a lot of
millennials,
people in our generation who are like, I'm sorry, what is the outline? Right. She's throwing this stuff out here. And it's all very interesting, but I don't understand. And I want to.
Yeah, like I'm trying to keep up.
Yes.
I'm trying to get
like
keep going with this.
Like, is it me? Is it me? Am I not? As I think back on it, I felt like I was being told the story by someone who was there, not a historian, like laying it all out for me, if that makes sense.
But don't you kind of think that that's kind of the whole thing?
Do you think so?
It's a 21-year-old's point of view, and it's exactly her, like the whole POV chapters, like it's exactly her point of view. She's living life minute by minute. It's minute by minute of what's going on.
Yes.
And then at the tops of the chapters, it's like you also have these little scribes scurrying around, picking up leaflets, picking up little pieces of paper and letters to each other and like trying to piece it all together, kind of like how in Battle Brief.
Yes.
Yeah, when they're like, okay, like what happened? Wait, what was the altitude?
Right.
Who was there?
Yes.
Why would they be doing this? And you try to have to like understand with a lot of different facts that are disorganized what's going on, so then you can make your next strategy. So yeah, this is her style of how she's writing the book, which is crazy because it's very different than other books that I enjoy and like.
That's true. I like that perspective. It definitely gives her a ton of benefit of the doubt. And I have watched some clips of her interviews, which are like, you know, fan hosted, like the Fantasy Fangirls podcast had a huge
I haven't watched
thing
that
in Denver. I've only seen clips. I think they do have like a full live stream, but she says like, this is in Violet's point of view. It's first person. So I'm only telling you information based on what she knows, which I believe is fair. And I understand that. And yet Violet has been described to be so incredibly bright and such a critical thinker and able to be a couple of steps ahead of everybody else in her class, that the way at least this book is laid out, I'm going to sound, I hope not to sound rude here, but it's not as smart as Violet is.
Do you think that Violet thinks she's very smart?
That's a good question. Yes, I do think she's confident in her intelligence.
And maybe not that smart.
Like you don't think she's that smart?
I mean, a lot was going on right in front of her that, like, she was being told a lot of information in Fourth Wing and believed it. And also, she was like a rich girl, like a very sheltered, hung out with the princes in like a upper echelon of society.
Dated the prince.
Well, that went...
How did you
we
feel
should
about...
talk about that.
Yeah, I want to talk about that.
In her whole life, she's been told, you know, your dad does all this research. You're just like your dad. You know, maybe she's getting there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm liking that perspective that she, in the first book, she is essentially like, I'm the smartest person here. And everybody agrees with that because she does know all of the information to a T that she was fed. But I guess this is a good point that by the time we get to book 3, a lot of her knowledge base has been shaken to its core, so she's destabilized. That I can understand, but I would still think that someone that bright wouldn't be so brash in certain ways. But it's almost like she doesn't slow down.
Right.
Even though there's a lot of hurry up and wait. She's not like, okay, let me sit with this information. Granted, it's said in the book she's doing a lot of things, like doing extra training and it's said that she's doing a lot of that stuff. So I can, as we talk about it, that makes more sense, but it's just not, it wasn't clear to me in the book as I was reading it.
She like never asked the right questions.
Right.
You know, she just took it that like in Fourth Wing, like,
right.
oh, the Griffins are the bad guys forever.
Right.
You know, I never thought
of anything else beyond that.
Exactly.
That's funny that you said it that way, because in Iron Flame, Xaden kept asking her to ask the right questions.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And she would just get pissed at that because she's like, well, I don't want to guess. You just have to tell me. And that does really echo a lot of how she was trained. She was told things, and then with the information she was told, she was able to formulate a thinking process and a type of discernment. But I can definitely see that she's maybe not.
I'm hard to say not that smart, because you're right. That is how she was trained and brought up, and
right.
Yeah.
She is smart for what she knows.
Exactly.
I guess I would say there are ways in which she's incredibly smart, or like crafty, cunning, deeply intelligent. Like when she does the thing with the rune that Mira brings that I'm still kind of confused about what it does in order to allow the Griffins to wield. But she does this midnight mission.
Was that in Iron Flame or Onyx Storm?
That was in Onyx Storm.
The runes, there was so much going on with the runes.
It's not well explained. And so she does this midnight mission.
Is that in the very beginning?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's right before her pardon for all things that she's done up until 8 a.m. that morning. Like, yes, that is very clever. And it's proof of her ability to think and to manipulate the situation to the best of her abilities. So there's that. But then it's like, there are moments later in the book where I'm like, why would you do that? Or like, what? This doesn't seem consistent. Her intelligence, her wit, her ability to keep her mind about her is not consistent. And okay, I can maybe chalk that up to being a 21-year-old or immature or sheltered, but as a reader, this is not a critique on anybody as a person or who they are or how a 21-year-old acts, but as a reader, it makes me not feel cared for. It makes me feel like I have to assume a lot of things and guess and basically try to make it make sense.
I just feel like, especially rereading Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, every single sentence means something else.
Right.
Like every single sentence is very deliberate. So anytime something seems like you're kind of almost like skimming over things, because you're like, oh, like I'm kind of bored with like this description.
Right.
I want to run down to the dialogue or whatever it is. It's like,
and yet that last half sentence holds something important.
Yes, it holds like so much. And then when you reread it, you're like, I can't believe I missed that.
Right.
Yeah. So it is just a lot to piece together, and I feel like you're not going to get it on the first read. I think it's just like a different style of book.
I like that. I think that's totally fair.
Yeah. Which is, I mean, it's not everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah. But I still, at the end of the day, I still am going to read books 4 and 5. I'm still incredibly invested. I still want Xaden to be saved. I still want them to figure it out. I really want to know. I have a lot of questions, but after reading this book, my biggest worry is, will my questions be answered? I don't know. And does that matter? So there are certain implications that the dragons are actually the bad guys.
Okay, I agree with that, because that time when they said, it was like in the beginning, middle, when Coda's the one who's calling the shots with Melgren.
Right.
Yeah, I loved that. I never even thought of that.
Yeah, because he's the head. He's the head. Yeah, and then it's also implied in other little half sentences that, like, well, the dragons aren't. They're the ones sort of manipulating the situation, or dragons aren't as good as they're as they're marketed to be. I mean, they're the most powerful beings currently on this continent. So of course they're dictating the way everything is laid out. But again, I don't know if we'll ever be told why.
I think so. I mean, the Irids.
Okay, how did you feel about the Irids?
Well, I know that you didn't like the way that Andarna was talked to. I think you mentioned that last time. And I was like, I hadn't gotten to that part yet. So I was like looking for Andarna getting condescended to. And the whole, when they find the Irids and they listen to her story and then they're like so dismissive of her and they're like, you've turned her into a weapon.
Right.
Like, and she's just like trying to be.
She's a child, basically. Like, and but also not just the Irids treating Andarna a certain way, but Violet and Taryn talk down to her all the time. Like, no, you don't know. You're just a baby. It's like, okay, she may not know, but she was in her egg for 650 years and clearly listened. So, and clearly timed her hatching right. So let's to the best of her abilities. But like, let's actually pay attention to what this, seventh breed of dragon actually has to say. And I just felt like she was the little sister being cut off all the time. And we didn't actually get to hear what was going on. So again, a lot of it is like, well, and then and then you just are like, what like, that's just how I felt. I don't know.
When we did meet the Irids and they were pacifists, that was a brand new, that it really made me take a look at the dragons, because I hadn't really seen them as such
war-oriented
until these like happy dragons who would never do something like this and are horrified by that look. Made me definitely take a second glance over at the dragons and being like, oh yeah, you guys are pretty bad.
But it's also I think it's brought up in the book, which I thought was a really good point. It's such a privilege for the Irids to be like, we live in peace. And you don't.
On their special island.
Yeah, it's like, of course you live in peace. You're not being attacked by venom.
And you might soon be.
But you're not going to help. Like, yeah, there was a lot of conflict there, a lot of hypocritical speaking, where it's like, we don't act that way, but we're not going to help you. But look at what, we set this test for you and you failed. And it's like, okay, fine, but now I'm mad because I didn't know all the rules to this game that you apparently set forth, and now I've somehow lost. Like, it was like a lost cause before anyone even knew it was a cause in the first place. So I can definitely, like, I appreciated a lot of the emotional provocation that came from reading the book. I felt like that was really well done. But I think I was frustrated too because, they went through all of the islands and then they stop at a random island, one that has no god attached to it. They just need a place for the griffins to rest. And then, boop, the Irids are like, we were watching you this whole time. I'm like, huh? Are you okay. I want to just take it for what it is. But my mind asks a lot of questions, I guess.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I know. That's why it's like, I wish this was a completed series.
Yeah.
I just can't believe it's very nice of her to get them out year after year.
Yes.
I think I read online that maybe the next one might not be next year. It might be in 2 years.
I'm actually happy for her because I read like a written interview maybe where she was like, there were things I didn't do for myself that I should have, and then I got burnt out. And that's what I mean when I first said, like, she was pushed to publish this way too fast. Even if it was like, instead of January, if this came out in June or at the end of this year, I think that would have given it a lot more time to maybe be a little clearer, maybe have other things attached to it. Like, I would have loved more of a glossary of the characters and a completed map. The isles part really threw me off because there was no reference. And yeah.
I just think all of these things are intentional choices.
You do?
Yeah. I think she loves to do this. I think it is like Taylor Swift. Like, she loves to confuse you. Like, the whole ending.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I mean, if we want to just like jump there, I mean, we can like jump all around.
Jump around, yeah.
But yeah, like the whole ending is basically we need to know who Xaden's brother is, Venom brother.
I thought it was obvious, but I also thought
my God, who do you think it is?
Garrick.
You definitely think it's Garrick?
Yeah, because she said, again, in an interview, but also...
She said in an interview?
She said, who is missing? Take account of who is missing at the end of the book.
Yeah.
Garrick is missing.
So is Eric.
He is?
Yeah.
But he didn't know that Xaden was a Venom.
Well, he's a pre-recog?
Oh, he's a precog.
Precog.
But Xaden knew that his new brother knew. He says, like, he watched me struggle for months to fight this, so he's the last person.
But Xaden is intrinsic?
Oh, intrinsic. That's a fair point.
What about Bodhi?
I don't think it's Bodhi. He's not missing. And I feel like Xaden...
Where is he?
He's there.
He was at Brennan, where Brennan is?
Yeah, because they're like, oh, there were 5 dragons and their riders missing. Then they find Violet, so then there's 4. So there's Panchek. He's gone because he was a traitor. Xaden with Scale, obviously gone. Garrick is missing. It's not clear who the 4th person is. But I don't think it's Bodhi, and I don't think it's Eric.
What about Dane?
I don't think... I think they would have said if Dane was missing. And also, Dane didn't know that Xaden was a Venom. So, logic to me dictates it would be Garrick. Especially with the whole, like, second signet, suddenly he can walk worlds. Yeah. Like, that's a Venom thing, right?
And he said he was so tired.
And I could see him potentially pulling to just move one, like, kind of like Xaden, where it was like, I just want to do one more good thing, even though I don't have the power, I'm going to pull it from the earth to do it. So I don't know, but do you think it's somebody else? Or are you like, I don't know, I'm going to leave it to be a mystery?
I mean, those are the people on my list for right now.
So Eric, yeah. Dane, Bodhi.
And Garrick.
Or Garrick. Okay.
Yeah. I definitely see a potential for all of them. This is what's so silly. Like, I kind of feel like Garrick and Bodhi are the obvious choices because he says, yeah, it's like someone who knew for 5 months, someone who he absolutely would never imagine killing. I think he might be able to kill Dane.
Exactly. Yep,
yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, those seem kind of obvious, and maybe it is, but I don't know. Rebecca Yarros is always...
She could pull a fast one.
Is it trickery? Yeah, so...
Different kind of trick. I don't like her tricks, I have determined, which is fine. Like you said, it's not everybody's cup of tea. I'm still invested. I still want to know what happens. But yeah, I don't like the level of discomfort that she creates in not being clear. It's like she takes pleasure in other people's confusion. That's how I feel. And that's not. I don't agree with that, you know?
I don't know. I just felt like this book was... I'm like, hurry up and waiting. Like when they were getting ready to go on their island mission, we need to do this because we need to find an Irid to save Xaden. This is all Violet cares about. It's also important for like ending the war. And then it was like chapters go by and we're not leaving. Why aren't we leaving? I would leave today.
Right.
Yeah. So that was a really long time of that.
Yes. Which, you know, again, I'm going to go back and read it, but maybe this is where like Panchek scrambles it all.
Oh my God. Yes.
Delaying the mission. But again,
that's so like, good, Veronica.
Thank you. I'm just guessing. I want to, not that there are ways in which you can convey information and have it not be so muddy. Do you know what I mean?
I just think she wants us all to reread it.
Yeah. She probably should. I mean, I get it. We are now, everybody is having discourse on it. Everybody has an opinion on it. Like all discussion of the book, positive, negative, neutral, critical, absolutely in love with it, you want it all, right? Because you're creating the material. So I appreciate the pot that she's stirring. And I'm curious about what's happening next. But there are just some things that don't add up for me. And this sounds so bad. And I'm, again, prefacing, I'm not mad at her, but it's like, I don't trust that she's going to bring me to a satisfying conclusion.
Oh, tie up every single loose end.
Right.
Yeah. I know. Well, I mean, we've been burned with other series. Like,
Absolutely have. Yeah.
Game of Thrones, like, we'll never know.
We'll never know.
Yeah.
Has he said that? He's just not going to finish the series? George R. R. Martin?
He's like working on other books and stuff.
Yeah, he's like, whatever. You guys got the show.
Yeah.
Get over it.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm not inspired anymore.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. And then going back to Violet being maybe a little bit immature, when we met the first boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend, like, I kind of wish that there were some redeeming qualities. What's his
for
name?
Halden.
Halden, yeah. Like, he was just kind of a dick.
Yeah.
Like a total dick.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like pompous and like, I'm the king.
And like a big man-child.
Man-child, kind of a bully.
And,
like that's
womanizer.
who you liked. And you dated him for 7 months.
Yeah, like, ew.
Yeah. I kind of lost respect for her.
That reminds me of, those little things at the top of the chapter where it's like General Sorrengail is writing to her husband of like, okay, if this all falls upon who our child loves, I do not have high hopes for the continent because she has terrible taste in men. So, I mean, I guess it's all laid out there. And this is what makes it fun to talk about, right? But yeah, I agree. Halden had zero redeeming qualities, not interesting, man baby. Eric is clearly, or Cam is clearly the best brother out of however, I don't know how many sons.
There's the oldest brother that Xaden killed.
Mm-hmm. No, that's Halden's twin.
Oh, they were twins?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. Ooh, wait, so who was really going to be, how do you pick?
I don't know who was born first, but...
Oh, it would be like the minutes.
Yeah. My guess, though, because Halden went into military, it freed up the twin brother. It freed him up to join the Riders Quadrant.
That makes sense.
So,
he wouldn't have been a rider and also the king.
Right.
Yeah. So it always was going to be Halden.
Yes. Although, like, let's talk about things like the royalty. Who the heck is the Duke of Calder? Who the heck is the Duchess of Calder? How much power do they hold? Why are they referred to a bunch at the beginning of the book and then they suddenly disappear? Who is the queen that then she's the queen of...
the Griffin?
The Griffin. And then she's killed.
Yeah. So now Takaris is the head?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, it's all... The drama is there, but the way in which it happened, it's like... And she's dead.
You're right. Now, I think this is the style, but... I mean, we like court politics and drama and like getting to know the characters. Yeah. And there were just so many names.
So many. Who is Llewellyn? I keep getting confused.
I know.
Is it a person or a place?
I know.
It's referred to as both. This is also where I'm like, is this poor editing? I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. All the different places were really hard. There were so many names. And then I'm trying to imagine, okay, who is a Griffin rider? Who was originally on our side? Right. Who is secretly a Venin?
Right.
Yeah.
Tell me who the gods are, please.
Oh my gosh. I was thinking about you. You so called it with the gods.
Yeah.
I forget, like, if we were talking about Iron Flame or Fourth Wing.
Right.
And you were like, I think something's going to happen with the gods. And it totally did.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hope they make more of an appearance because clearly they're real.
I think they're going to. Like, Dune is very important.
He's very important. But yeah, like Dune and Loyal are the two gods that you're supposed to dedicate your whole life to. And of course, the island of Loyal is the one island they didn't go to, which is probably where the answer to save Xaden is. But they gave up too soon because the Irids like pooped on them. So
some things are just like so obvious when Eric's is like, Violet, you have to protect the Dune Temple. And she's like, shut up, Eric. Right. Oh my God.
Can you please listen to him? I know. He's one of my like favorite characters.
Me too. I'm like, maybe you should just hang out with Eric. Or I hope
no,
somebody...
you don't deserve Eric.
Yeah, okay, not Violet. Somebody else.
Somebody better. Although I have been seeing like in the fan theories that like Dane and Sloane are a thing.
Oh, I saw that because they like at
there's
one
tension.
Point there's a little look.
Yeah. There's some tension. Which is fun.
I like it. Yeah. I wonder if some of the other books are going to be not Violet and Xaden.
Huh.
I mean, there was way more POVs in this one.
Yeah, at the very end.
Yeah, like there was Rhiannon, there was Imogen.
Does Bodhi have one? No.
I don't think so.
Oh, wait.
And there was
I have
Xaden.
the book right here. Okay, I felt really bummed about... Yeah, so there's Rhiannon. I felt really bummed about Quinn dying, but when I talk to other people about it, they're like, who's Quinn? Why did she matter? I'm like, she was talked about a bunch.
Yeah.
I liked her for who she was. Okay. Rhiannon, Imogen. I think it's Rhiannon, Imogen, Violet, and Xaden, if I'm right.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone.
I bet if she had a Bodhi or a Garrick chapter, I feel like that would add a lot to the theories of who the Venom brother is.
Yes, that's true. But
and Dane didn't have a chapter?
Dane didn't have a chapter. Yeah. No. Nope. Although I find it interesting, there's a lot on these lines about Xaden saying, the one who walks forward towards Panchek's cowering traitorous ass, putting himself between Scale and me, he's a problem. Not because he's more lethal, not even because he's supposed to be dead, but because I can't kill him. I could no more raise a blade to his throat than I could Violet. So a lot of people are confused about who he is, and they think that's Liam, but he's talking about Berwyn.
I thought it was Berwyn.
Okay.
Because I thought that's who he
tried to kill
in Iron Flame, and that's why he became a Venom.
Yes, exactly. Because then he says, so it gets confusing because she puts the sentence in between about the bond between violence and me is the kind of magic that has no explanation. Then it's a new paragraph. The bond between Berwyn and me is the kind that should never exist. And now that my sage has another sibling he can use against me, I'm screwed. So he was talking about Berwyn the whole time. Some reason people thought it was Liam.
Well, when I read it really quickly, at first I thought Panchek was the brother. Like, no, that's wrong.
Right.
Like, you really had to, I read this one over, like, you really have to go line by line and think about, like, the pronouns and everything.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But it's like, so I glance past Berwyn, past Gale, and the Venom to my new brother and the unconscious dragon lying in the valley beyond the canyon, guarded by 7 wyvern. How could he do this? Choose this after watching me stumble and fall over the last 5 months. How could he willingly walk the path I've fought like hell to leave? He's the last person I ever would have expected to turn, and yet here we are. I think it's Garrick because she also says, think of who out of all of these characters that you are considering may have turned, who wanted more than what he was given. And I think it's Garrick.
You don't think it's Bodhi?
I mean, there is an implication that it could be Bodhi because he tries to stay with Violet, but I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to say I was very wrong about her second signet. She's a dreamwalker.
Rebecca Yarros said that was something kind of obvious that she had written in, and so that was supposed to be at the end of Iron Flame. Mm-hmm. It's what's happening with Xaden and turning into a Venom, and actually Violet sees it and it was a dream.
Yes, but I thought it was written as if it was Violet's perspective, which is why I was confused.
I was so confused about all of that.
And okay, so it is explained in a half sentence in the book, right? So Andarna enters the dreamless
in a
sleep.
Half sentence in the book. This is like what we're going on.
I know. Andarna enters the dreamless sleep, and your signet is supposed to manifest based on what you need. And I guess this is again what is said in interviews, and then you're supposed to. It's said briefly in the book. She wanted above all else to get in contact with Andarna. And so she developed dream walking to do that, which doesn't make sense when she's in the dreamless sleep.
Oh.
But it is apparently manifested as a human would manifest it. So she wanted to be able to reach Andarna so badly that she became a dream walker because of that.
Like out of necessity?
Out of necessity. But how could it have been a necessity? This is where the logic fails me. How could it have been a necessity if she couldn't even...
Oh, dreamless sleep. I don't know, but she was like desperate to find out about her and to see her and to be with her. Yeah. So she's like, she is asleep, so she just is trying to get to her somehow. I mean, I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I kind of love that, though, that the signets are out of... like a requirement, or not like a requirement, like the signets are out of a need. Mm-hmm. Like how Brennan is a mender because of maybe potentially Nolan or...
Nolan. No, yes, that guy.
Yeah. And then, there's some theories that Nolan is a Venom.
Yes.
Yeah. I think you already knew that or had thought that.
That made it up. And it's not even clear. Like, is his name Nolan Berwyn?
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like, is there what's the first name and what's the last name?
Yeah. And that's why, like, Tarn doesn't talk about it.
Right. The one who came before.
Ooh, what do you think about Tarn being in a restful place right now?
Oh, yeah. So my theory, because clearly Andarna can break and build bonds. I think she broke the mating bond between Scale and Tarn.
Why do you think that? My goodness.
Because how else would Scale be able to fly away with Xaden without killing all of them?
I mean, how far did they go?
But they're away, and they're going to be apart for a very long time. And like a week was stretching their bond to the point of severe pain.
Why do you think that they're going to be away for a long time? This is only 12 hours past.
When are they going to be reunited, though?
Didn't he free her from... Didn't Xaden free her from, like, being caught in the net with Berwyn?
Yes. But there's no mention of Scale. And Xaden says, you know, like...
Oh, yeah, we got stuff to do.
Don't look for me. Like, it's yours now. Tyrandor is yours. Don't look for me. And there's also implication...
That they're on a quest?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, like, Andarna broke her bond with Violet, flew off with the
the other Irid?
Yeah. So she breaks that bond. Violet goes into a depleted, depressive state, which we have time for that. And everyone's fine and everything's stable so that Violet can have a little bit of depression.
Some naps.
Just sleep for 8 days straight. No big deal. Whatever. And then she can remake bonds. So clearly she came back and then rebuilt their bond. But something had to happen in order for the 4 of them, meaning Violet and Taryn and Xaden and Scale, to separate. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, I never thought of that. That's really sad.
It is super sad. But she can remake their bond if they are reunited and Xaden is no longer a Venin.
Ugh.
Unless she broke Scale and Xaden's bond. I don't know. Because he has one tiny shred of his soul left.
I kind of like that better than breaking Tarn. And because I feel like the way that they... I mean, how many mated dragons are there?
Right. But then why would he need to rest so deeply and undisturbedly?
He's never had to do that before.
No, I don't know.
Oh my gosh. And then I thought of you too because we talked about how we don't like bonus chapters.
Yes, it kind of like defeats the whole purpose of editing exactly what you want.
Yeah.
So and tell me more.
I don't even know that there are bonus chapters. You were the one who first told me that bonus chapters existed. Yes. I had no idea I should go looking for them.
Yes. It's all fluff. Like, very little of it is, like, meaningful to the overall plot or canon of the series.
Well, I guess that's why, like, Imogen, if I had read the bonus chapters of Fourth Wing, I would already know that Imogen's secret signet is erasing memories.
Oh, wait, what? Her secret signet? Isn't that her...
I didn't know her signet was erasing memories.
Yeah. Oh,
and
it's not said in the main books. It's only said in a bonus chapter. Okay,
I think so.
Wow, I don't remember.
Well, that is because I had no idea.
Okay,
what the last line, what you asked me to do, I was like, "What the heck is this?" And I had to Google something that was like, "Yes, well, of course, in the bonus chapter of Fourth Wing, there's like this bonus chapter where Imogen and Violet go off and do a mission, and Violet doesn't remember parts of it." And
I didn't read that chapter. I was thinking of when they go into the archives and then she and Imogen erases the memories of the guards.
Ooh, good one.
That Xaden knocks out.
Way to go.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that is probably the real thing, and my Google was...
Oh, I don't know. Yeah. But maybe, I'm sure there is a bonus chapter because, you know...
Okay, good. So it was in the real book.
Yes.
It wasn't just for the super fans.
No.
Okay, yeah. So I really had no idea that Imogen was a erasing minds.
Yes.
Until I Googled that. So, yeah, wow. You asked me to do it, Violet. Yeah. So I did.
Yeah, 12 hours. What do you think? Do you have theories about what went down in those 12 hours?
About what they did. It actually, because I didn't really know or put together that Imogen her signet was erasing minds.
I see.
So then it makes a lot of sense why Xaden wanted Violet and Imogen to connect and hang out all the time in Iron Flame and go running because he was worried about Dane.
Right.
Fourth Wing or Iron Flame, yeah, where
they're running.
They go running.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, oh, wow, so Xaden, you might have put her there, put Imogen and Violet together so that way Imogen could potentially use her signet against Violet constantly. Like, she probably has used it on her quite a lot.
You think so?
I do.
Oh, wow. That would be a huge betrayal of trust.
I agree. Yeah, we don't know how often she's done it. I mean, there were times in Onyx Storm where when they were like on their travels or whatever, and she's like, we've been gone for 3 days, and then they're like, no, you were gone for like a month.
What?
Yeah, and that is what makes me think that maybe Imogen had done some more things to Violet, and then that changes things too, because the perspective we're getting is also involving mind erasing from our narrator.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, when I feel ready, I will reread it because there is a lot to pick up on. Yeah. I did read or saw a perspective that was like, that made me feel a lot warmer towards this book. But one described this book as basically Xaden saying, like, I'm going to tolerate you trying to save me. This is me allowing you that space to do everything you can to try to save me, but it's a lost cause. So it's almost like the book is a book of grief because there is, denial and anger and sadness and bargaining until there's acceptance.
Like, Xaden has a terminal illness.
Exactly.
I mean, I guess it is truly the perspective of a 21-year-old absolutely operating in just like minute by minute. This is what I need to do. I need to save him. Right. I'm going to go through my checklist. I'm going to systematically go through these islands. I've got my team, and I'm not like leaving any room to think about what the reality kind of is that we're losing him. Right. Which I don't know. I think I wanted a little bit more of her reflecting on that. Right. And then when they're in one of the islands and Xaden is kind of in that Zen state and he's like so happy and he's like, there's no magic here. I'm so relaxed. It did kind of feel like a person with a terminal illness who is like just enjoying every last moment. Yeah. Right.
Like she's fighting so hard to give him more time and he's trying to just enjoy the time he has.
But then, putting things in place. Like he is like the true royal leader with his like succession plan.
Right. He's super smart. I mean, he's clear and he's smarter than Violet in this because he's had more information. That's exactly, like, basically this book was good in a lot of ways, but I just wanted so much more. And I think more could have been given if there had just been enough time given to the author to craft it. I understand if you want it to be disorganized. I understand if you want to like kind of lead us on all these little breadcrumb trails. I understand that you want to plant Easter eggs, but like the quality of the craft, when you compare it to Fourth Wing, which is so good and so clear, and the voices and the characters are so clear. I was not confused at any point. And maybe that's the point, that as you read these books, you get more and more confused, just like Violet does. I don't know. I just can't. It doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head when you were like, I mean, it brings a lot of discussion. It makes it topical. Like, you kind of have to talk it out with people and you have to go see what's going on to kind of understand it. And you can't just finish the book and be like, well, all right. Like, you have to go back and read it again and think about it. So it does seem kind of intentional.
But, okay. I'm going to compare it to this book that I'm currently reading with Andrew. Yeah. I won't name it right now because I don't want to. It's apples and oranges. Okay. But just in terms of, there is plenty for Andrew and I to talk about and dissect and discuss and be excited about in this book. And I am never once severely confused or frustrated by the book. I'm intrigued. I am excited to know what's happening next. I am interested. I also know we're going to get answers. So that's still completely possible. You can still have all of that stuff. Discussion, intrigue, confusions, questions at the end, wanting to know what's happening, being unsure, but still feel like you've got both feet on the ground.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this book is like popcorn. It's like...
That's a good point.
fun to read. It's fun to be a part of. It's not going to be anyone's like literature.
No, I hear
Yeah,
you.
it's like one version of it. We're all kind of talking about it.
Yes, I agree with you. There was a lot of exciting stuff happening. A lot of things that we figure out with Eric being a precog and, General Sorengale being an answer to Theophany as a storm wielder. She's not a lightning wielder. She's a whole storm wielder. Like, a lot of things that are revealed that you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, that's incredible. But yes, because it's at the very end, it's like skidding to a halt. And then you're left a little dazed.
Oh my God. And then thinking about when they're at Zinel's island.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, that was like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And they're giving everyone the gifts that you have to receive.
Yes.
I was like, oh, I should really pay attention to this. This is going to be so interesting. And it was just the longest list of random stuff. And I was like, I cannot dig into every single one of these objects.
Right. And a lot of people are like, oh, Violet's broken compass is not really broken. And it's
all this stuff. It's like, no, I'm not digging into this.
It's too much.
It's too much.
Because then at the end, friggin' Traeger just gets an arrow to the heart.
And we all have to accept it.
And it's cruel.
It's Kat's boyfriend.
Yeah. Poor Kat. Yeah. Like, I have come to really like Kat.
Me too. If Xaden got shot in the heart, will we just give up and be like, well, we have to accept what Zinel gives us?
Thank you, Zinhal. Thank you.
Right? That was so bad.
It was cruel. But I guess that's the point. Like, the turn of luck is cruel, good or bad. It can...
I don't know. So, I liked this book better than Iron Flame.
Okay.
Not as good as Fourth Wing. Definitely still going to read it, like you said. Lots to think about. If it's just Garrick, I'm going to be a little disappointed. But
you want a twisty twist?
I want a twist on a twist.
Okay.
Yeah. Like all now right. I feel like I'm deep in the theories, and I'm like,
okay,
well, it's probably Liam back from the dead.
It does. I mean, again, yeah, she's like building the ability for as much fodder as possible, as much chatter and theorizing, because it's fun. I'm in it for the long haul. I am committed. I want to know what's going to happen. I want Violet and Xaden to be endgame. I want so many different things to happen. I'm okay. I'm okay if I don't get my way. Like, I'm okay if the way that I think things are going to go are wrong. But what I hope for is what actually happens is more satisfying than what I thought. Is that mean?
No, I mean, I kind of think that's how Throne of Glass is too. Mm-hmm. Like, you don't really like the first one and you're not as satisfied, and then it just like builds and builds and gets better
and better.
Yeah, and I wonder, I mean, she kind of is opening it up. She like left a lot of options for things, but yeah, I don't know. We only have 2 more.
I know. A lot needs to happen. I thought we were going to meet more dragons. Like, I thought we were going to meet the Empyrean.
Oh yeah.
And like have some coda in there.
Yeah.
And, like, I definitely thought a lot of different things were going to happen. And when they didn't, it was like, okay, that's fine. But then how are you still going to answer these questions is really what it comes down to for me. And if it's unsatisfying at the end, that's also fine. It's been really, really fun. Regardless of how I think or what I feel about the series, I am most excited that, a female author is getting praise and attention and focus and success as she should,
Yeah. And it was a lot of people's, I think, entry into not just romantasy, but like reading again.
Yeah. Kind of very Harry Potter-esque.
Yeah. Love it.
I feel like Sarah J. Maas and Rebecca Yarros have really opened up us millennials to read for joy again and interest, and at the end of the day, it's all good.
I mean, it's a dragon book. Like, it's so fun to look at this instead of my phone.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
But I am excited now that I finished to go back on our Instagram. I did open it once during the very beginning of reading the book and saw Xaden's venom brother. And I just, the whole time, I thought we were going to meet like a Venom brother. And I thought it was going to be, and then we meet like his half brothers, his little half brothers. And I was like, well, here's the beginning of this. And then I had just assumed that there might be like an older Venom brother that we're going to like talk to.
Blood related brother.
Yes.
Not related by being a fellow Venom.
That's exactly what I thought. And I was like, I can't believe I got spoiled with this Instagram.
Yes.
Only to know that it's like a crazy twist at the end. It's a secret.
Yeah. How are you feeling about meeting Zayden's mom the way that we did?
Oh, that was so sad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the whole thing about Benon's not having feelings. And so he just like loved the idea of not feeling anything during that. And it was like a test for him.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's true. Yeah. There was a lot. I mean, again, I definitely see that a lot of the steps that she took were intentional as she wrote the book. They just felt like, oh, and now this happens. It just so happens that Zayden's mom is married to the leader of the triumvirate of this island that they went to.
To me, it kind of feels like there's a whole world going on.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing like one tiny person's perspective, and then it like slowly grows as you like learn more. And it's not even like it's happening in a timeline. It's happening.
It's just happening
all around.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense why when we did Fourth Wing, it was so easy to dissect and talk about because it was so linear.
Yeah, it's very linear.
Yeah.
Like this podcast episode where I feel like we just went everywhere.
We did, which I know that I'm fine with. I'm sorry if it made you very feeling frazzled.
No. I mean, I feel like this is like first take.
Yeah.
Like this is just like talking about a book we
the
just
book.
read.
Yeah. Yeah. You're at the end of the day, you're right. This is not highbrow literature. It is certainly not what some people label romance or fantasy as like trashy. It is not that. It just has a quality that stands on its own. And I think that it's still interesting, and it's a nice mix of interesting and fun and smart. Like all of those can exist at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of, saw a lot of When the Moon Hatched. It made me feel about that a lot, just because that was a book you needed to reread right away.
Yeah.
And then the whole like kind of like mind erase thing.
Right. Any other thoughts?
Let me look
Any
if
deep
I
dives?
missed anything. There's so many fan theories that Brennan's actually bad.
Oh yeah, a lot of people want him to be bad. What do you think?
I know. I'm like waiting for. I like him a lot, so I don't want him to be bad. I love that he's always like there to save Violet.
Yeah, it wouldn't make sense if he's been like literally the strategist, unless he's been misleading people this whole time for 6 years. But Xaden is an intrinsic, and he would have picked up on his bad intentions.
Totally.
So this is why I'm like the worst person to talk about fan theories with, because I feel like I constantly shut them down, and it makes me feel like I'm not fun.
No, I think it's good because you're like, no, that wouldn't make any sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we need. We can't go off and thinking Brennan's so bad. We like Brennan.
Yeah. So yes, in the future, I just want you to know, like, if I'm ever like, well, no, that's not possible because like, it's more.
You have the receipts. I appreciate that.
Yes, it's more being like a fact checker than trying to throw, water over a fire here.
Well, then here's one.
Okay.
When they were doing the siphon thing with Sloane, and Violet was like, well, that's weird. There's not marks on their hands. What was that all about?
Marks on whose hands?
I think it was Brennan and Dane, and they should have had marks on their hands, and they didn't. And she was like, that's weird. And I was like, that is weird. Let me highlight that.
So the marks are from venom that draw out the life force, right? Whereas Sloane is a siphon, but she's a vessel-like siphon.
Yeah, because she can give power, too.
Right. She is a conduit. That's what really they should call her. She's not a siphon. She's a conduit. She takes from one thing and gives to another. So there is no... So magic always has a balance when she's wielding. There's no imbalance at the end. So it's not possible for someone to lack because it's been equally given to another. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So That's what I would say to that.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I like it.
Yeah. Tell me, what is the point of Theophany? Because she teased the whole book that she has the information that Violet needs. And then we don't get to know what that information is. And then Violet kills her.
I love that. Oh my God. That's so, like, what the heck?
Like, well,
you must have, for you, information needer.
Yes.
You must have been so mad.
I was like, what?
I was thrilled. I was like, hooray, we've killed the Maven. Good job, Violet. And you were like,
you didn't even get any information yet. Like,
what a waste of a character.
I know. Like,
that's so funny.
Yes.
I mean, I guess we got some information. Maybe it has to do with Dune because she was a priestess. I don't know at what time.
Yes.
Because she's so powerful. So I imagine she was a priestess from like a long, long, long time ago. But maybe it was more recent than that. We don't know.
So that's the other thing. Are Venom much older than the average human being on this continent?
I feel like she's kind of insinuating that because it takes time to move through the stages.
Right.
Yeah. And then you become more powerful potentially with the more Venoms you create or you make.
Okay. I can get behind that. I like what you said. I think my hope is what would be logical and what would make sense to me is if the information Theophany had about whatever she thought Violet wanted to know most is information that currently living priestesses in the Temple of Dune also have. That's what I'm hoping, because the way that she stated it, it was like
that. I like that a lot.
Yes. It was like, I have the information and only I can tell you what you want to know, which is very manipulative and is trying to get Violet onto her side and to, wield from the earth. But yes, like, it was only frustrating to me to have this sort of teased in front of me the whole book and then have her die and not get any of that information. So my hope is that at some point in books 4 or 5, we get that information, and that information is able to be gleaned by somebody who is alive.
Watch the last book be like so dense.
Yes, let it be 1,000 pages. Let it take 5 years to come out. I don't care.
And it's not like this one sentence. It's like paragraphs on paragraphs on paragraphs with like all the info. Yeah.
Yes, I know. I have a coworker who is waiting to read Onyx Storm because she needs to refresh on the first 2, but she has a little baby. So she's like, I don't have time or the brain power to reread both and then read Onyx Storm. But I don't want to read it and be confused. So,
I mean, you have to, like Dave's sister started Onyx Storm and hadn't done any reread. She went in totally cold.
Well, how'd she feel?
She was like, there are so many names.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
Yeah. And then we were kind of talking about the ending and she was like, so it's Brennan? And I was like, oh. And then, it was like when we were at the indoor playground and couldn't talk and both had to go in different directions.
Smiled,
and then I wanted to talk about it again, but I didn't want to be like, so Dragon Book.
Yeah. Anytime. Come up to me anytime and say, so Dragon Book, and I will happily talk to you for a very long time. But yeah, I mean, again, lots of grievances. Who am I? I have no authority over this, but I think... Yeah, it's just my biggest fear that we're going to finish this series and I'm going to be like, so what information did Theophany have?
Yeah.
But I hope not. I'm going to try to be positive and just ride it out.
I feel like she's going to close the loops. I mean, okay, so there was a interview with her at one point where she has said, I don't read any of the like Reddit or anything
Good
like
for
that.
her.
Yeah, because it would kill creativity. Like, don't do that. But when I'm in the beginning of this book and it's like so many theories that I feel like have been all over the internet, all came true, like, the Venom in the archives and people thinking Tarn was going to die, and then in like one of the very early chapters
He
it's like
gets knocked out.
Tarn's almost going to die. There were so many of those where like Mira almost dies or whatever.
Oh yeah, when her throat was slit, I was like, okay, scientifically.
Did you say scientifically?
Yeah, she doesn't have that much time, okay? But okay, all right. I'm too skeptical. What a wet blanket.
That's so funny. But yeah, I was like, maybe you do read these theories and, so I feel like she knows what we're after and what we're
Yes.
looking for. It is kind of like this, to me, is like cliffhanger TV shows.
Yes. I mean, and that's what she first thought of this as a TV show, right?
I know that it was kind of concurrent. I don't know if it was like that it should be a TV show. This to me felt like definitely a TV series. Just the fact that like there's so many cliffhanger. Like I feel like it, like Tarn almost dies. That's going to be like the end of an episode.
Right.
Mira almost dies. So many things just sort of seem like TV. I guess it's just like how we're consuming media right now. And
For sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, have you talked to Sam? Did Sam finish Onyx Storm?
Yes. So she and her friend Amelia, who are in Phoenix, both felt very similarly to how I felt in terms of frustration around Onyx Storm. Sort of, they felt like they were left hanging.
Yeah.
But they you know, like you and I, they're still going to read 4 and 5. They're still in it. Xaden is still Shadow Daddy #1. She and Amelia just started Zodiac Academy.
Oh, right. She was talking about, you were saying that she was going to do that. And it's like 9 books or something.
Something like that. It's really
Wow.
long. Yeah. I can't do that right now.
I like that though.
Yeah. It's fun. I mean, it's nice that I think it's completed. Or at least, I mean, 9 books. You could fly through that, but you're going to get a ton of information and I think feel satisfied after 9 books. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to read it. So
I'm excited. And did we decide when the Moon Hatched is going to be our next one?
do you want to do that?
I don't mind either way.
I mean, I would totally do When the Moon Hatched
Yeah.
if you want to. But that would actually be really fun.
Yeah.
I love Con. So
I know that we should be winding down. We've been chatting for a while, but I did see, so I follow a sex therapist on Instagram.
Oh, nice.
Her name is, Vanessa Marin.
Okay.
And she posed a really good question today of like, okay, let's talk about these romantasy book readers. We love a shadow daddy. We love a 500-year-old fae telling this main female character, you're my whole world. I need you. I love you. I would do anything for you. I would literally die for you. I would let you slit my throat if it meant that you would continue living. Like women in our generation, above and below, we eat that shit up, right? But then when it happens in real life, when you have a man who looks at you and is like, I need you. I want you more than anything else. I am obsessed with you. A lot of women are like deeply turned off by
cringe.
Cringe in real life. Like, ew, get a life. But we love it in books. Why?
Oh, I think it's the passion.
I think
you might
so.
be missing like some passion in your life. So
Right.
you're like looking for someone who's like, yeah, I would die for you. I'm going to look up from my phone.
Yes. And do something.
Exactly. Yeah.
But then when you're given it in real life, why don't you like it? Not you, but why wouldn't a woman like it if she's obsessed with it in her book, but then is given it in real life? Why is there an ick?
I mean, who is not liking it? Like, is this like someone who's dating someone and then they come on too strong? Or is this like...
It could be anybody. It
Yeah.
could be that. It could be a couple in a long-term relationship. It could be anybody. But there's like a dissonance. I don't know if you have a theory. I have a thought.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So this is my theory. These shadow daddies, these like 100-plus-year-old men say these things. I want you. I need you. I'll do anything for you. I would die for you. And it's the intensity, but then behind it is a person who is like, and you are also your own person, and if you reject me, I'm going to be okay.
Yeah.
And
I have a kingdom.
Or like, and I say all of these things about you because I do love you and like you're my whole world, but I also respect you and trust you and like all of this. There's another half to it.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel like in real life, when a man says those things, that doesn't always mean he's also someone who respects you, someone who constantly lifts you up, someone who is always looking out for your best interest. Do you know what I'm saying?
Like, I mean, is that someone who's like in a new relationship so they haven't had time to like build that together, or?
Could be, or it could be someone in a long-term relationship who's gone through a lot of stuff with their partner, like having a baby and building resentment and, you know, changing in values and like going through some really hard times together. Like, I think it's different.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know, like Violet and Xaden went through some hard times. Like, I feel like, especially in the ones that have, like, I know, like, not having that many books in a series is nice because then we can, like, read it.
Yeah.
But then you do have them go through, like, ups and downs, and
Right.
you get to see it. And then,
Right.
like, there are things, like, you can continue to hold against Xaden
Right,
or,
right,
you know,
right.
other things in the book. So if it truly is just the Shadow Daddy being like, I respect you so much, and also I love you and would do anything for
like
you.
it's both. That's why Khan is amazing, because he's like, you can do anything, Moonbeam, and I will still love you.
Yeah, and like, you died 1,000,000 years ago, and I've just been like piecing together the moon for
Right.
you, like pieces of moon.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
thinking of you.
Right. And you were looking at me like a stranger, and I would still do anything for you.
Yeah, and all I'm going to do is follow you around and make sure you're safe.
Yeah, exactly. And also do like crazy things with you, whatever you want.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, because I just like love you that much. You're my whole world.
Right.
Yeah, I would love that.
More to think about. I think my brain power might be petering out. So if I'm not making any sense, I'm sorry.
No, I saw it because like, I love the fantasy romance Reddit thread. It's like, it's so nice to just like jump on when you're like like a little bit bored or whatever, and you're like, oh cool, like let's talk about books, like that's nice.
Yeah.
But a lot of posts on there are like, I hate my boyfriend now. Like,
oh gosh.
Yeah, like after reading these books and like being like having like a book boyfriend, like I can't even look at him the same way. Why is he not like this?
Oh gosh.
And like I feel like that's like a very like maybe teens, 20s like, kind of mentality.
Let me tell you, he's not living up to those standards because a woman wrote that man. Okay? A woman wrote that man. Yeah.
He's fake.
He's fake.
Yeah. He has wings.
Yeah. I will say though, okay, just like moment of honesty and vulnerability, like Andrew is that person to be like, I will never stop loving you.
Oh.
The world could be on fire. You could, whatever. It doesn't matter. I will always love you. And it used to like, it's not that I didn't believe him, but I really had to do a lot of work to believe that I was worthy of that level of devotion. And I think that might be part of why some women experience the ick. Like, do they believe they love that kind of love? They love it displayed on a show, in a book, between, you know, two fictional characters. But when it's them, I wonder, like, is some of the ick not towards the man, but towards this idea of whether or not they deserve that level of devotion and love and unconditional.
Oh, that's a great point.
Commitment.
Especially when like the woman is like, oh, I'm like the chosen one. Yeah. So it's like, I have something about me and I'm like super hot and
right. And I'm perfect.
I'm perfect. Yeah. So like, obviously that person would find like their shadow daddy in whatever world it is. Oh, that's a really good point. And sad. Yeah.
But I mean, like, women are really conditioned to question themselves and not feel good enough and to strive for perfection and never feel perfect and to constantly criticize themselves. So then to have a man be like, no, to me, you are perfect. To me, you're my whole world. There is no wrong that you could do, regardless of what you say to me, how you treat me, how you struggle. I will always love you. Like, I think some of that, yeah, it's just kind of like, whoa, that's way too intense. I don't deserve that type of thinking. And that's just maybe me and my perspective. Someone else might feel completely differently, but
no, that's a great perspective. I feel like I could never connect with someone unless I like knew them for like a super, super long time. So if somebody said that to me and it was like someone I met on like a dating app and it was like, we've been together for like 5 months, I'd be like, you have no idea.
You don't know who I am.
You don't know who I am. Yeah. Yeah, no, we need years of slow burn before.
Right. That's your style. That's your style.
Before I like am going to let you in or trust you or feel like we are endgame. Yeah. I don't know. I was listening to this other podcast that was really good. I think I sent it to you.
Did you?
It was called Book Talk for Book Talk.
Yes.
I liked it a lot. I mean, I think those girls were so fun to listen to, and they also like have their like masters in comparative literature. Like some of it was like pop and fun, but they also get really deep. And then one of them was just like bantering kind of about like dating apps, and I was like, oh no, that would be awful. Like you have to read these books when you're like married.
Yeah, right. No, you cannot have resand in your head and swipe on guys. But I will say, just from my experience, like no one is perfect. I'm not perfect, and in order to get the relationship I currently have, both of us had to work our asses off to evolve and to learn how to communicate and to gain some humility and to be curious. So like these books, you don't see any of that work.
Yeah.
Because it's a fantasy. Thank you so much for listening to all of our thought, what we loved, what we left with in terms of questions. And we would love to hear how you felt about Onyx Storm.
Yeah, is it definitely Garrick?
I don't know. Yeah. And are truly Xaden and Violet endgame? I mean, who knows? What happened in those 12 hours? Find us on Instagram at Shadow Babies Podcast. You can always email us at shadowbabiespodcast@gmail.com. We are also on Pinterest. I think you can send us messages through Pinterest, Shadow Babies Podcast.